welcome. You're watching NewsX and I'm Shivani Singh. In West Asia, a fragile ceasefire is under severe strain after the most serious direct exchange between Iran and Israel since April. While Trump has asked Iran and Israel to stop shooting immediately, the Israeli army has now declared that its air force completed an extensive strike against strategic defense systems in Iran, while the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or the IRGC, has said that it had launched attacks on Israel's Nevatim and Tel Nof air bases in response to the Israeli air attacks overnight. Joining us on the broadcast is Major General P.K. Sehgal, defense expert, who will help us understand this fragile situation that is currently underway in West Asia. Let's in fact start off with some developments that are coming to the fore. Now, IRGC spokesperson has given a statement, and I'm quoting here, "We acted as we promised." The spokesperson added that Iran will make the American and Zionist enemies regret their actions. If aggression and villainy continue, they will be dealt with even more severely. General Sehgal, welcome to the broadcast. I thank you for taking out your time and for speaking to NewsX. I believe we have another guest on the broadcast, Mr. Arvind Singh Techawat, who's a foreign affairs expert. I welcome you both. General, I want to start off this discussion with your observation regarding this new phase of hostilities that has started between Iran and Israel.
First of all, thank you very much for having got me on NewsX after a very long time. I think it's been almost for a couple of weeks that I've been on your channel once again. Thank you very much for it. The situation in the Middle East is absolutely and totally grim. It's very clear that hardliners on both sides are on the ascendant. As far as Israel is concerned, Netanyahu knows that in October he will certainly lose the election if he appears to be weak, notwithstanding the direction from or appeal from Donald Trump. He has done what the hardliners want him to do. As far as IRGC is concerned, IRGC also hardliners have taken over, because otherwise it will affect the morale and motivation of the people who have once again very strongly stood behind the government. On the 4th of June, there was a ceasefire once again brought into play between Israel and Lebanon by the Americans, and Iran had made it very, very clear that if Iran continues to attack Lebanon, particularly Beirut, it will cross their red lines and they will be forced to intervene in favor of Hezbollah. And on Sunday, Israel attacked southern Beirut, killing 2 people and injuring about 20 people. In turn, Iran launched about 10 to 11 missiles. Most of them were intercepted, but that notwithstanding, Israel carried out a retributory attack on several cities, four cities: Tehran, Tabriz, Isfahan, and one more city. And they've said that they've attacked primarily military targets, and they have not attacked their infrastructure so far. But that notwithstanding, as far as Trump is concerned on his social truth, he categorically stated that both sides should stop shooting at each other. But neither side is willing to listen to what Trump is saying. And Trump has also gone on to report to say that as far as he is concerned, he calls the shots and Netanyahu will jolly well listen to what he says. But it's quite apparent that unless and until this is matched by concrete action on ground, as far as Netanyahu is concerned, he will continue to do what he thinks he ought to do to save his own skin and to ensure that he does not get defeated in the October election. Once again, Iran has carried out another attack, and in turn, once again, Israel has responded with Iran has fired about 30 missiles now. And this time, not only has Iran fired these missiles, I believe that certain missiles have been fired by Houthis from Yemen also, and Hezbollah has also carried out certain attacks in coordination with the main attack of Iran. And as far as Israel is concerned, Israel is once again retaliating. Under these circumstances, the ceasefire that was brought into play by the mediators in Pakistan on 8th of April I suppose, is in a tremendous amount of stress and strain. Trump has gone on record to say that negotiations are still proceeding and he still hopes that within a matter of certain days, a deal will be made. I'm not too sure about that at all. As far as the world is concerned, we're beginning to suffer immensely. Oil prices have already gone up. Stock markets have once again crashed. Rupee will be once again under a huge amount of pressure and stress. And the entire world, as far as Strait of Hormuz is concerned, Strait of Hormuz will continue to remain closed till such time some sort of a deal is made. As far as Iran is concerned, Iran is quite happy in the sense they have time on their side. In Israel, there are elections in October. In America, there are elections in November. Both elections are just about a couple of months away. And as far as America is concerned, Donald Trump certainly knows that should he not be able to get through a deal, which appears to be far better than the deal that was signed by Obama in 2015, he is bound to lose in a very major way. He wants to tell his people that in the ultimate analysis, he's arrived at a deal far superior, and he's been able to also succeed in making sure that the Strait of Hormuz is open, and is opened without any toll being charged by the Iranians. But I am not too sure that he will succeed in doing so, unless and until he makes serious compromises. Iran is insisting that ceasefire has to be across the region. Ceasefire must not only be in Iran, but it also must be in Lebanon as well as in Gaza. And also, Iran feels that they've achieved a certain amount of deterrence as far as Israel and America is concerned, as far as Iran is concerned. They want to achieve a similar deterrence in Lebanon and also thereafter in Gaza. I'm not too sure whether they will succeed in achieving that, but under these circumstances, the situation today is very grim, super sensitive, and the entire world is waiting with bated breath, hoping that it does not escalate further. Back to you.
General, I'll come back to you. Let me bring in some more developments from the ground. In fact, Israel has again claimed that they did a large-scale attack on Iranian defense systems, deployment positions today. Now, the visuals on your screens are of those attacks, and according to the IDF, these strikes have severely degraded Iran's defense capabilities. Let me also rope in Mr. Tejawat into this discussion. Mr. Tejawat, how are you looking at today's hostilities? We had seen this very fragile ceasefire be in place since April. We had seen continued hostilities in Lebanon, but why did Iran decide to take action against an attack in Beirut that happened yesterday? Why did they choose this moment to launch ballistic missiles towards Israel after such a long time, sir?
Yeah, Shivani ji, that's very much true that after such a long time, the Iran decided to launch a ballistic missile on Israel. But the people who know the basics about the foreign policy, they know that if any nation is having the existential threat from any country and the country is continue attacking on someone, then of course the country has all the rights to defend himself. So that is the reason that Iran decided to retaliate. And here we need to learn that to declare ceasefire was just a part of strategy. And Donald Trump just wanted to send a message to the rest of the world that United States is serious about the peace. But in fact, the threats, the greed, and the peace cannot survive together. So if any country is having a greed about someone's or some nations, the resources, oils, and in turn, if they want a peace, then I suppose it's not realistic. In idealism, probably we may say that, okay, the war is not okay, and we shall try to find a peace. But if someone is not trying to understand someone's confusion and the fear, then I suppose the current situation will go on. And I doubt that the United States and Israel is serious about the ceasefire, and the such situation will run a few more months, because I believe that the United States know that at this moment the Iranian economy is really in a great crisis, and Iran can survive, I suppose, this summer only. So in the beginning of September, probably the Iran will go for the more compromise, because his economic resources and income has completely squeezed by the blockade imposed by the United States. Shivaniji, over to you.
Right, so I'll come back to you. Let me in fact bring in some more information that is flowing our way. We are now getting to know that a vessel ferrying 24 Indian crew members has been attacked off the coast of Oman. Now sources are saying that the vessel has sustained significant damage and is reportedly taking on water after a breach in the engine room, and the vessel is at the risk of sinking. So this is big breaking news that we are in fact getting in off the coast of Oman. Remember that a message, also an emergency alert, has been sent across over here, and the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways has confirmed this incident. They are saying that yes, we are in contact with these 24 Indian seafarers who are seeking help. This is off the coast of Oman, and we have Manoj Yadav, Secretary of Forward Seamen's Union of India, or FSUI, making that statement calling for help. Let me go across to General Sehgal. General Sehgal, the Strait of Hormuz obviously still remains a choke point. We are looking at Iran and Oman talk among themselves, and there is talk that they might reopen the Strait of Hormuz from their end with a few rules. They might look at imposing tolls, they might look at friendly nations vessels passing through, imposition of a ban on enemy vessels. But I want to understand, US still has a blockade over there. Will this understanding that Oman and Iran seem to have reached over the Strait of Hormuz work?
As far as America is concerned, America is very, very categorically told Oman that should Oman accede to Israeli request and join hands with Israel, they will bring in horrendous sanctions against Oman, and under no circumstances they want Oman to join hands with Israel. If you notice, as far as Oman is concerned, Oman is one of the major allies of America as far as in the Middle East is concerned, and I'm not too sure whether they will actually agree and go on to levy toll and manage shipping. America is insisting that as far as they are concerned, they will never lift the blockade unless until Oman and Oman and Iran permit free passage of shipping without any levying of any toll whatsoever. As far as this ship is concerned, I'm not too sure whether who carried out an attacking. Is it the Iranians who've done it, or is it the Americans who've done it? Because on a number of occasions, even Americans have attacked certain amount of ships belonging to Iran or transiting or carrying goods for Iran, or vice versa from Iran towards China or other nations. They may have been crew members, could have been Indians, but I'm not too sure whether the ship carried an Indian flag. I don't think it carried an Indian flag, because Iran would not have attacked an Indian ship under any circumstances. We've got very good relations with them. But that notwithstanding, I totally agree with what Tajawal was saying. That Iranian economy is under extreme pressure, and it's almost about to be collapsing. And Americans are hoping like hell that people start coming out on the streets. But under the circumstances, as far as the hardliners are concerned, they are willing to continue to put a lot of pressure on their people, and hopefully they hope that as far as they're concerned, people continue to stand by them. But all that notwithstanding, prices in Iran have touched the roof. Everything is either very expensive or simply not available, because Iran is dependent on large-scale imports from other countries, particularly of medicines, pharmaceuticals, agricultural products, and lot many other things. Except for oil and gas, Iran is very, very heavily dependent on other sources, and those are blocked because of the American blockade, and that is causing a huge amount of, I'll say, ill will against the regime. But all that notwithstanding, the regime is still holding, and hopefully Americans are wanting to continue to increase the pressure on them to ensure that Iran eventually signs a deal wherein it's advantageous to America. Now Iran has got, in fact, Iran says that we are possessing the Strait of Hormuz, and under the circumstances, we will not open the Strait of Hormuz unless and until the $24 billion worth of assets of theirs are unfrozen, and unless and until a certain amount of sanctions are removed. Unfortunately, both sides have got certain red lines, and neither of them are beginning to compromise as of now. The consequences are that the world is suffering a lot. Stock markets are crashing all over the world. Oil prices are once again beginning to rise. Inflation will continue to rise. Pressure on economies, on currencies will increase by an order of magnitude. And similar pressure is also being exerted on the American economy. Though America has abundance of oil and gas and is exporting oil and gas to other countries, but their economy also, within the country, the oil prices have gone up, the grocery prices have gone up, and generally the people of Iran, of America, are completely unhappy with the way Trump has been handling the war this far. Back to you, Shivani.
Right, sir. Point taken. Let's also get in some more information. An Israeli military official has reportedly said that Iran has fired nearly 30 ballistic missiles at Israel since Sunday night, marking the first direct exchange of fire between the two countries since a truce was reached in April. The Israeli military has added that it carried out strikes on targets at a petrochemical complex in Masher in southwestern Iran, claiming materials used in ballistic missile production were manufactured there. Mr. Tejawat, I want to understand from your perspective, how will negotiations now go forward from here, now that we are seeing that both the parties are stating that we will continue these hostilities?
Very much right. Both the parties has already declared the same, and I believe that the peace is not going to achieve very soon. The reason behind it, because the Israel is having really an existential threat, and I suppose that was the Israel who made the United States to come into the war. So that is the situation, and even we know that when the negotiation was happening there in the Pakistan, the Israel was not a part of it because the Pakistan do not recognize. But now things is not in a control of Pakistan, neither in a control of United States, like some of the experts says. But reality is this, that if the United States is not supporting Israel, then probably the Israel will definitely stop attacking the Iran, and in turn Iran will not retaliate and will not fire the ballistic missiles. But here we need to understand that Israel is really having a setup each house is having a bunker over there, and probably the Iran is having a more loss when they fire the missiles, because the Iran's sky is totally open for the Israel's missiles, and in turn the Israel is having that kind of setup where they can escape themselves from the missiles. Each house is having a bunker over there. So that's the situation. And the other things what the Sehgal Saab has already stated, that Iran is going to face a really very difficult situation in coming days. And already it has stated that the internet is not working, even the schools and everything has been locked down. And though the Iranian government is claiming that everything is normal and everything is okay, but the people who came from the Iran, or we are establishing a communication from the Iranian people, then definitely they are having a different opinion. So the United States want Iran to lean down by making the economic sanctions and the pressures, and then after, I suppose that the United States is willing to go for the negotiations. So that might be the strategy on the part of United States. Okay. Shivani ji.
All right. Please do stay on with us, Mr. Tejawat. In fact, Iran's Tasnim news agency has reported that Iran is prepared for a prolonged conflict with Israel and is also ready to target US interests if the situation escalates further. So, General Sehgal, we are obviously seeing a lot of threats and warnings that continue to pour out from Iran as well as Israel. Now, I want you to give your perspective as to how you take this statement that is coming in from Iran's Tasnim news agency, which is stating that Iran is prepared for the long haul, for a prolonged conflict. General, you are talking about a destroyed economy, you are talking about lack of military supplies 3 months into the war. Do you believe that Iran can last long? Do you believe that Iran can really come out on the top after a prolonged conflict?
Unfortunately, as far as Israel and America are concerned, they were absolutely certain that Israel will not be able to hold on. But they did not, they underestimated Iran's resilience and Iran's capability. And American intelligence categorically states that they got more than 50% of the missiles that they had and drones. And during the ceasefire for last about 2 months, they once again recouped their losses to a very large extent. All that notwithstanding, I don't think Americans will intervene, and Americans will continue to put pressure on Israel to stop the war, because Trump definitely wants some sort of an exit if he has to ensure that he does not become a lame duck president after the November elections. And we are very fortunate that so far, if America intervenes, then Iran so far has attacked only Bahrain and Kuwait, and that also the American assets. They've been threatening to attack the infrastructure, the oil-led infrastructure and the desalination plants in all the other Gulf countries. That is only and only in case America intervenes. I am not certain that America will, I don't think America will intervene at all. And if America stops flying weapons and buster bombs, etc., as well as spare parts for the aircraft, etc., there will be absolutely no option left with Israel to continue the war. Israel has to find a way of getting out of it. The pressure on the entire world is also on Israel, because nobody wants this war to be prolonged. The longer the war lasts, the greater are the consequences for the rest of the world. And I think there will be a huge amount of pressure from the Chinese also onto Iran, Russians onto Iran not to prolong the war. As far as if America gets involved, the Chinese and the Russians would be very happy. They would want America to get involved and America to become weaker and weaker, so that in the Indo-Pacific, should Chinese do any mischief against Japan or Philippines or Taiwan, etc., Americans' residual capability is very limited or almost nil. America knows that 50% of all the weapons that they had are already exhausted, and it will take years and years for them to recoup their losses or to recoup those weapons, not less than 3 to 4 years. Under the circumstances, I don't think America will intervene at all, but they have no option but to continue to put pressure on Israel. As far as Iran is concerned, Iran has got enough capability to continue to fight not only a war against Israel, but also Israel and America combined. Back to you, Shivani.
Right. Some very valid points over there, General. In fact, we have another piece of information regarding Iran. Iran has warned that the ongoing conflict could expand beyond the region, with Iranian state TV reporting that Tehran issued a fresh warning to Washington. I'm quoting here, "If Washington ignores Iran's warning again, will it be able to pay the price?" This is what the Iranian state TV said. Now, while cautioning that the war could become extra-regional if tensions continue to escalate. Mr. Tejawat, I want to get your perspective on this as well. Iran is saying that if the United States does not intervene at this point, if it does not pay heed to its warning, this conflict might just become extra-regional. We are already seeing and feeling the effects economically, as all across the globe, all the countries are feeling the pinch. But I want to understand, can Iran sustain this war if it again goes all out, against Washington and Tel Aviv?
Of course, the Iran is sustaining, and it's really a surprising for lots of the Euro-American nations, and they understand that what the Iran is doing really is surprising. In turn, what the Iran stand, the Iran is saying that where or the country in the Middle East region who is supporting the United States, the Iran will attack on them because these people are the responsible to bring the America in that particular region, and that's why I don't think that the Oman, UAE, or maybe Kuwait, or maybe some small countries they have that capacity to counter with the Iran. And in turn, the United States has spent lots of money on this war. So Iran just sent to wish to send that message that if the United States is trying to harm the Iranian economy, then definitely the United States is also going to lose enough money because of that unnecessary war. One more thing we need to think about, as you spoken in the beginning, that Indian vessels has been attacked. The earlier the Ali was also been attacked, and even one sailor was also died in that fighting. So now here we need to understand that India's, especially the industries, they have an interest in the United States, and that's the reason that India is not taking that strong position against the United States. Otherwise, the Indian interest is suffering a lot, and the United States really threatened the India's energy security, and of course the GDP is also going to be affected. And at the same time, the United States is also willing to impose some more tariffs on India, and that report has been submitted to the president office. That's a different thing, that the President Trump is agree with that report or not. So if we think about the interest of India's people, then probably the country is willing to go for the energy security, and need to speak against the United States policy for the Middle East, because now we are having a different interest, so that we need to recognize. I think, Shivani ji.
Absolutely. I also want to, in fact, get in some more information regarding the implications, because we are getting to know, according to former International Energy Agency head Nobuo Tanaka, that oil could hit a new all-time high. He's predicting a level which is above $147 a barrel. Because right now we're dealing with 95 and above. Imagine what the world will come to be if oil touches $147 a barrel. General Sehgal, I want to get your perspective on the economic implications of this, because obviously it's affecting India as well, it's affecting countries across the globe. Oil is touching all-time highs, and we do not see the situation resolving anytime soon. So this is something that we'll have to deal with for the next year or so.
Absolutely no denying the fact that the Indian economy, as well as the economy of the entire world, is suffering immensely because of increase in oil prices. And if somehow the other America intervenes and Iran carries out attacks on infrastructure in Gulf countries, particularly the GCC countries, and attacks their oil installations, etc., the oil prices may even go up not only to $147 a barrel, but it could even go up to $200 a barrel, which could be ruinous for the entire world. And Iran clearly knows that that's the price that the world will have to pay if they don't put enough pressure on Israel and America. Under the circumstances, that's why, and Iran has also gone on to say that should America intervene, it will not be, they will not confine their attacks only to the Middle East, but they could also go outside the region. And they've also indicated that they could attack American assets in Diego Garcia, they could attack American assets in Cyprus, they could attack American assets in Greece, as well as certain air bases in Turkey, etc. Should those countries allow the use of their airspace and their air bases to America? Under the circumstances, I think the pressure from the rest of the world ought to be put on both Israel as well as Iran, more so to Israel, because had Israel not continued to attack Lebanon the way it is doing so, and had it not continued to do so in Gaza, despite despite the truce, etc., being in place in both the places, I don't think Iran would have done what it has done. Iran is honor bound. Honor bound. Proxies are in Hezbollah, Houthis, and Hamas are creations of Iran, and they are honor bound to protect them.
Right.
Under these circumstances, they had categorically stated that if the attacks continued in other than southern Lebanon, south of the river, and they attacked Beirut per se, they've already captured 1/5 of the country. And they said if they carry out attacks on Beirut, they will have absolutely no option but to intervene. And the moment on Sunday when Israel carried out attacks on southern Beirut, the Iranians, as per
Right.
their statement, they have responded, and they have responded
All
very, very
right.
strongly.
Unfortunately,
But-
General, that's all the time that we have to discuss this, but I thank you and Mr. Tejawat